Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. We've got a little welding job today. Let's check it out. So this hinge that was welded onto this 1-inch square tube has broken off. But really, that weld didn't fail. The 1-inch tube failed. Look at all that rust. All right, and instead of just trying to scab something on and weld that hinge back, which would work, but I think it might be better to just go ahead and replace this 1-inch square tube. So let's work on that. So this is a really nice dump trailer. In addition to the barn doors, it's got I think they call it a two-way tailgate, but it'll open as barn doors, but also you can leave those shut and then release this lever and have your tailgate swing, which is great for spreading gravel or other material as opposed to just dumping it out. All right, so to remove this door, we're gonna have to take these bolts out. And I put a wrench on these last night. Unfortunately, you can't get an impact gun on here. And I got this one to move. I couldn't make this one break loose. So let's work on that. I've got some PV blaster sprayed in there and it's been soaking overnight. So maybe that'll make a difference. Okay, so this top bolt takes 1 1/8 wrench and the bottom takes 1 16 inches. Like I said, I got this one loosened up last night. Man, I miss being able to use my impact gun on this. They just, the way they designed it, there's not room. There we go. All right. Take this into the shop and we'll get the other hinge off there.
It just came off.
Okay.
Keep tapping on it until I get out here. Okay, go.
Wow. That ain't going. Okay. I'll cut that off, put a new bolt.
That is the way it is. Get the same kind of bolt.
So these hinges are held on with a 3/4 inch by 5.5 inch grade 8 bolt. And I decided I'd just get a new bolt. When I went to Rural King, they had 5-inch bolts and they had 6-inch bolts. They didn't have 5.5. The 5-inch worked, but have you priced grade 8 bolts lately? Those things are $4 a piece. It's crazy. So I spent quite a bit of time lining this back up the way it was originally from the factory and measuring everything, and I took a whole bunch of pictures. I've got a piece of this 1-inch square tube, and it's a 14 gauge thickness, and I'm pretty sure that's what was in this. The nice thing was, you know, since I'm taking this apart anyway, it's easy enough to measure it out. But anyway, the 2-foot long piece of square tubing was the easy part to get. Tearing all this old out and putting it back was the tougher part, especially because these hinges were 3 inches from the edge, but then they hung over a 1/4 inch. But like I said, I think I've got everything I need to put them back exactly the way they were. So I can throw a new bolt in there with no problem, and I've got a piece of square tubing, so that's no problem. But this hinge part, you know, I guess I could make one, but nobody sells something like that I know of. And it'd just be real simple if I could just get this bolt out of this thing. But I'll tell you what, it probably took me longer to get this bolt out of this hinge so I could reuse that hinge piece than probably any other part of it. But you know what? If you melt it a little bit, it can't be stuck if it's liquid. Oh yeah, that's nice cherry red. Oh yeah, that's a heat and quench. Okay, now we'll see if it did anything. Pull it back towards that. So TV blaster and just drive out there. Now switch bits. Ready?
Yep.
Wait a minute. All right.
Nothing to it.
Nothing to it. Thanks, pterodactyl. Heat and quench, baby. It works every time. So I'm guessing that's what kind of had this welded in there. But that wouldn't stand up to getting that piece cherry red and then quenching it and then just driving it out. One thing, I couldn't keep that air hammer bit on this end, so I used the air hammer bit that drives the socket, and that worked out real well. This is the air hammer bit that I used, and so it just holds the socket, and then it doesn't spin, it just beats against it, and then you can take a wrench on here and turn something. But this worked great for keeping from slipping off. I'm ready to start disassembling the old square tubing from this tailgate, and the first thing I'm going to do is take the one good hinge off of it so I can reuse it. And once I get that done, I'll start grinding the rest of these welds off and get this tube off of here. All right, well, I just got done running some errands, but I wasn't happy with the amount of sparks that this cutoff wheel was throwing inside my barn. So I brought it out here under the carport and hopefully can finish this up. Let's get to it. Okay, so we've got this weld here, then this edge down here is welded, and then this edge, there's a weld there even though most of the metal is gone. So we just got to clean that up, cut out this weld. I think this bar will break off, and then it's a 2-foot piece of 1-inch square tubing, which I've got inside, and I'm just going to weld that back on. I'm going to use the MIG welder on it, so we'll see how it goes. It is much easier to put something together by welding it than to unweld the same thing. But I've got this new extended reach air cutoff tool from Harbor Freight, and it's actually doing a pretty darn good job of grinding out these welds. Now, I've got a plasma cutter and I've got a cutting torch as well. The problem is this tailgate, because it was open because of the hole basically rusted in it, and this trailer was used for horse manure, and so between the rust and horse manure, the plasma cutter and the cutting torch don't like to cut through that stuff, and that little cutoff wheel had no problems. There were a few areas that the diameter of that 4-inch cutting wheel wouldn't get into, and so for that I went ahead and fired up the cutting torch. I keep saying 1-inch square tubing. This is 1.5 inch square tubing. I apologize. Hey, we're not perfect. And in keeping in the theme of use every tool in my garage, I used the air chisel also on this. And it did a good job. I ended up being successful in getting this 1-inch square tube off of this thing without tearing up any of the rest of the tailgate. But it was a fight. Now all I need to do is grind all of the welds totally flat and then grind all the areas so that you can get a clean weld on it. If it's worth welding, it's worth cleaning. That's what they tell me anyway. And I listen to them because I'm not an expert. But it is fun. This is a welding job, but 80% of it is using grinders to clean this up, to get it ready to weld, which is only 20% of this repair. Which to me makes perfect sense because I was in the fire service for 37 years, and even though we call it the fire service, 80% of it is EMS. Oh well, you know, you go with what sounds good. This is a welding job. In addition to the cutoff wheel that I've been using, I'm using this 60 grit sandpaper flat disc. And I'll tell you what, that on that Hercules grinder, it does a heck of a job of erasing these, you know, little bits of weld that I didn't remove when I disassembled this project. I I use this sandpaper flap disc to not only get rid of the paint and any leftover traces of that weld, make that tailgate totally flat. I also use it to remove any of the mill scale that covers up my new piece of 1-inch square tubing. I want to get good clean welds on this. Here is the fit up that we're going to be working with, and it looks pretty darn good to me. This is a pretty good gap down here at the bottom, but you know what? We can cover that. Let's get the mill scale off this 1-inch square tube and start making sparks. I'm pretty happy with the fit up, and I've got everything cleaned up. So now I'm just going to clamp it in place and get ready to start welding this up. And of course, we'll start by tacking it in place, and then I'll just go ahead and fill those welds out. Now I'm using a MIG process. It's called dual shield or flux cord gas shielded wire. And I found it does pretty good. You can't use it if it's windy outside. And today's pretty calm, so I go ahead and fire it up and get this thing welded in place. I think it did a real nice job. I've had real good luck with this dual shield wire, and some people actually refer to it as 7018 on a spool. I don't know if I'd go that far, but it does work pretty well for me. And here are my settings I used on my Vulcan MIG-Max 215. I went ahead and used the manual settings, and I set it for 14 gauge steel. What I did was I kind of played with the settings, and I actually turned it up enough that I did kind of burn through some of that 1-inch square initially. So then I just turned it down a little bit, and I knew I was getting really good penetration without blowing holes in it. That was the goal. Like I said, you don't want no cold welds on this. This bar is going to hold up that whole weight of that tailgate. And it's a structural unit, even though I don't do structural welding. Oh well, I really like these needle scalers. It sure beats messing around with a slag hammer, that's for sure. This wire is the .035 diameter Blue Demon dual shield wire. Like I said, I think it's pretty dang good. It does a good job for me. Now, this is the first time I've tried to use it outside, and I think a couple times I got a little porosity because the wind gusted up. But generally, it was pretty calm out today, and this did a pretty good job. I think if I did it again, I might go ahead and just run a bead down with 7018 in my arc welder, though. The advantage the MIG gun has for me is there's less movement, less coordination, and it's easier on my back to use because of that. You kind of have to do a whole lot more manipulation with a rod doing stick welding than that MIG gun. Here's another area the MIG gun shines. There was a pretty large gap right here, and with that MIG gun, I was able to jump across that. I did turn the settings down just a little bit and filled that in really nicely. I couldn't do this near as easily with stick, that's for sure. Here I've got everything welded that I'm going to do with the MIG gun, as well as ground down. And like I said, I came out pretty good. Now I just need to weld the hinges on, and for that I am going to use my stick welder and 7018. Here are the rods I'm going to use. So they're 3/32 7018, and here is my titanium stick 225 arc welder from Harbor Freight. And I was running that right at 85 amps to put these hinges on. Even though I had measured everything and taken pictures of it and made myself notes, I put these on the way that I was pretty certain that they were in the exact right place, but then I just tacked them on, and I'll take it over to the trailer and actually make sure, verify that it fits before I fully weld it out. It's a lot easier to remove a couple tacks than at full weld. This is my John Deere welding table for this job. And the nice thing about it was it could carry the tailgate right back to the trailer. It looks to me like our alignment's perfect. So checking around, now there's one place I see that at the top of this, the door I just welded is a little bit higher, but I think it's because the other door is sagging, not because this door is too high. So I'm gonna take this back up and fully weld this hinges, and then we'll do the final assembly on this, and this job will be done. What is the saying about a grinder and paint can make me the welder I ain't? Yeah, I can live with that. Go ahead and get these bolts tightened down, and then this thing has a whole bunch of grease zerks on it, so I go ahead and put grease in all of them that'll take it. There were a couple that don't, and I'm not going to mess with that. All right, let's open it up, see how it does. Much better. All right, well, that's going to do it for this video. If you got anything out of this, give us a thumbs up. It absolutely helps the channel. And we invite you to subscribe to see more. Have a great day and be safe.